The Scarlet and Violet era of the Pokemon TCG has already released 5 sets, and they're all full of new staples and spiritual reprints. Today we'll be talking about their various cube applications, so sit back and enjoy the Pokemon TCG Scarlet and Violet through Paradox Rift Cube Review. As usual, we won't be talking about the majority of Pokemon in these sets since their numbers far outweigh those of older cards, even if we're talking about the modern era. To start us off, Hawlucha brings more pinging to the game, similar to Galarian Zigzagoon earlier in the Sword and Shield block. The power level might be a bit too high for low and mid power cubes, but I can see this Pokemon slotting into early modern era high power cubes. What can go into any power level and be very useful is a Nastash Skovit. This card seems a bit bad at first, but it has a lot of good combos and can work as a pseudo draw engine. Aside from resetting your hand down to 1 to draw back up again with cards like Rose Tower, Octillery, and Porygon 2, you can also use your Skovit to push your hand down to 1, discard the last card, and use effects that need your hand to be at 0, like Rayquaza Seek, Rambo, Hisuian Arcanine, or a few different Milotic. You can also use it with Maxie's Heat and Baltrick and Archie's Ace in the Hole by using another effect to set up the top of your deck. In Paldea Evolved, we have Pelipper, a Holland Transceiver-like effect that can get any supporter from the deck or the discard pile. Once again, the attack kinda gatekeeps this card from lower mid-power cubes, but like Hawlucha, I think this card is a great fit for any modern era cube. Cleffa from Obsidian Flames doesn't eek anymore, but it still draws quite a few cards, and not unlike its Heart Gold and Soul Silver counterpart, it does it for free. Although drawing up to 7 cards isn't as good as drawing a fresh 6 or 7 cards, having a free attack and free retreat is the gold standard for supporting basic Pokemon. The last Pokemon I want to talk about is Ditto from 151. During your first turn, you can search your deck for your best starter and put it in play immediately. This can be your Cleffa, Jirachi, or your early game attacker and can be used in any power level. There are a lot of different stadiums in the SV block, but I want to talk about what I call token stadiums, cards that can be played to decent effect in any deck. Artisan can help you set up your basics at any point of the game, and Mesagoza can, with the help of Coin Flip, get you any non-Rubox Pokemon at any point. The caveat here is also giving your opponent access to their Pokemon. Cycling Road is a bit too weak in my opinion, but I can see it being a good inclusion if your cube has a lot of cards that interact with discarded energy, or if you have repeat ways of setting up the top of your deck. Sky Arrow Bridge is back in the game in the form of Beach Court. We have seen these two stadiums being incredible in combination with active-only effects like Celebi Prime, Smeargle, or Comfy, and now we have a second copy of them for Singleton cubes. Town Store can be a great stadium for decks that rely on Pokemon 2 cards, and it's an almost instant include in any unlimited cube. The last stadium I want to talk about is Practice Studio, which can be a good way of buffing Stage 1 decks in any power level. It's pretty rare to see damage modifiers on stadiums, and I really like how they did this one. We already have a ton of good supporter cards in this block, so I want to separate them into categories. I'll call this first category High Impact Supporters, and oh my god, they reprinted Rocket's Admin. Singleton cubes now have a third copy of the Rocket's Admin/N effect. Widely considered one of the most balanced and well-liked cards in the game. This card is a must-include in every cube that it can. Here are some other high-impact cards. Right in the heels of Clara, Miriam introduces herself as one of the best recovery cards of all time, combining two of the most important aspects of the game, recursion and draw, all in one. Giovanni's Charisma is an incredible disruption and acceleration supporter, and one that I haven't seen in many cubes yet. I feel like people are a bit afraid of the 2-for-1 effect here, and while it could be game-changing, having both effects be tied to active Pokemon is a good way of nerfing this type of card. Jacques is the newest multi-evolution search supporter, and these types of effects never fail to impress. Breeders Nurturing and Araizu were already incredible cards by themselves, and Jacques can search for Ruboxes and work with Rare Candy. Do not underestimate this card. In the pickup effect section, we have both Penny and Professor Turo's Scenario. We're getting to the point where we have 1 million different pickup effects in the game. Some of them are a bit more specific, and some can just get anything anywhere. These types of effects can make or break a cube, so watch out with them. In the type-specific support section, we have Mela, a third supporter that accelerates fire energy because we really needed more fire acceleration in the game. and Tulip, which is just Nessa but for Psychic types. I'm actually happy to see this one since Psychic did not have a great type-specific supporter until now. In the lesser impact supporters, we have Arven, which easily slots into every cube ever, but is highly cube and draft dependent. Youngster, the newest copy of Shauna and Professor Oak's research. Clavel, another way of searching 3 basics. This one is on par with Pokemon Collector actually. Gita, a weird accelerating supporter that doesn't let you attack during the turn that you use it. We've never really seen this kind of effect before, but the slower your cube is, the better this card gets. Daisy's Help, a weaker draw support which can give you very important prize information, just like Time Walk Azelf did in times past. Rika, the third in line of the Underground Expedition / Jasmine type of Dig 4, Get 2 type of effect, and a fine card on its own. There's not a lot of new items in this section, so let's give a quick rundown. Earthen Vessel is the big one, another way of searching your deck for multiple energy, and although it has a discard cost, sometimes discard isn't a cost, it's a synergy. Energy Sticker is a third copy of Energy Pickup / Turbo Patch if you really like accelerating with coin flips. Electric Generator is a type-specific max elixir if your cube needs to give lightning types a bit of a boost. Grabber can be a thing in your cube if you're a fan of Hand Disruption, but watch out for these types of effects since they can be too much when combined. TM Evolution is a cracked version of Diamond and Pearl's Evolutor. For the cost of 1 energy card in the suit, you can evoke 2 of your bench Pokemon. Likewise, TM Energize can power up your bench at the very start of the game. Both cards are very flexible and can abuse the heavy 2-search design of the last few years. TM Devolution is almost a full reprint of ATM Rock, which was one of the most powerful cards of its time. Now, expanded cubes can bask in the glory of Devolution, and singleton cubes can have 2 copies of this effect, which can make a Rocklock style of deck very playable. Paldea Evolved brings us our 3 special energies, and they're all very good cards. Luminous Energy is a new version of Multi-Energy, which is a good card to have in a Rainbow-centric singleton cube. Jet Energy is kind of a reverse Warp Energy and already sees a ton of play in standard decks. I've yet to see this card played in cubes since the special energy slot is a bit too competitive, but the potential is there, don't sleep on it. And boy oh boy, they reprinted Scramble Energy in the form of Reversal Energy. Again, it's the same thing as Iono, amazing for expanded only cubes that want a new comeback card, as well as unlimited cubes that got a new copy of a strong staple for years past. And that's it for the early Scarlet and Violet cards for Cube. If I didn't talk about a card that you use in your own cube, please leave a comment down below. And if you want to join the Cube conversation, please join the Pokemon TCG Cube Draft Discord server. We talk about the format all the time and play in casual and competitive cubes every week.